tried talking to a tree or a rock or a spirit of place and felt that you're getting absolutely nowhere? I'm Faye Semple, and I'm your Earth Energy Guide who helps spiritual seekers like you harmonise your home's energies, clear unhealthy vibes, and create sacred spaces for personal and planetary healing. And today we're going to solve a big problem: how to communicate with non-human consciousness. The secret? It's actually pairing dowsing with kithing. It's a heart-centered way to connect deeply with any being. So here's a little story. I was dowsing at a place, and I was trying to connect with the spirit of place, which would have been the spirit of this forest. But my pendulum was going all over the place. It was moving yes, no, who knows what it was trying to do. And I was stuck in my head overthinking it. But I had learned about kithing, which is a practice of intuitive heart-to-heart connection, and it changed everything, really. Suddenly, I wasn't just dowsing, I was having a real conversation with the spirit of the forest. So what is kithing? It's about opening your heart to connect with another being's essence, whether it's a plant, an animal, or even a place. So there are no words, just pure presence. And when you can combine that with dowsing's precision, so you can ask very carefully worded questions and your dowsing gives you the answer back, there's an added dimension then that you're actually very focused on the being of which you're asking the questions to. So you've got a superpower for communicating then with non-human consciousness, of which, of course, is the vast majority of the universe. So why does this matter? Because it lets you build real relationships with the world around you, with trees, with rivers, with animals. Whatever it is, you've got a mechanism to connect to its consciousness, a way of breaking down the bounds of being in your own head and connecting to something more than yourself. And this is why this combo of dowsing and kithing is such a powerful one. Dowsing alone, really, it picks up signals. It's like tuning into a radio frequency. We're sending out a signal. We want that specific information, and that specific information comes back. But then we can add that extra added dimension of we send that communication specifically to the level of consciousness that we're trying to connect to. So it's more direct. It's hard to describe, but it's just extra powerful. So, dowsing alone, I said, can pick up on signals. But if you're not really aligned with the being that you're reaching out to, if you're, you want to dowse about, like say the spirit of place, the spirit of a forest or a particular rock, but you're sending that question out to the universe, it's much better to send it directly to the thing that you're trying to dowse with. So it's like, if we're dowsing out there in the universe, we're not, about a thing that's in front of us and not really focusing our heart connection on the thing that we're trying to connect to, whether it's remote or in presence. We're broadcasting our signal too wide. It's like calling someone who's then not picking up the phone at the other end. Kithing creates that heart-to-heart link so that when you're dowsing, your questions land very clearly and the answers come back true. So it's a much more refined focus. So let's break down the 3 steps really to combine dowsing with kithing for clear communication of whatever your subject is, whether you're trying to dowse with the consciousness of a tree, the consciousness of a rock, consciousness of a mountain, the consciousness of a forest, or the spirit of your home. So firstly, you want to open your heart. Before you dowse, you want to take a moment of love and gratitude for the being that you are connecting to. Let's say it's a tree or a rock. And you want to close your eyes and breathe deeply and imagine a warm light linking your heart to theirs. Now, this is kithing's magic. It really builds trust. Now, you may think, well, a tree doesn't have a heart. No, but it has levels of consciousness. We know that plants have feelings. They're just not like ours. So if you think about your heart, you're thinking of your physical heart. Think about your heart chakra. That's really like a bud of consciousness. Your heart chakra or energy bud, energy center, is connecting to their energy center that holds their emotional intelligence. And that's what you're connecting to. The second step is to set a very clear dowsing intention. Instead of asking vague questions like, is this place okay? Or is this rock okay? You want to try being specific. I'm connecting with the spirit of this tree to ask if it needs healing, for instance. You want specificity, but heart connection, and that's what gives you the clarity. And the third is to listen with your whole being, not just your dowsing tools. As you are dowsing, also pay close attention to your feelings or images or sensations that come up. That's the non-human consciousness responding through tithing, because non-human consciousness does not speak language. When your brain brings that information back in, it is only your brain that puts any wording on that information. That's you bringing in information that is only as pure energy from the universe and translating it into your words. You might not think you've done that, but that is kind of what's happening, because you've got to put a handle. You've got to put that information that comes in as pure energy into some form that your mind can understand. So we put words upon it. With dowsing, we try not to put too many words upon it. We try to use the movement of the rods to indicate a yes or no answer. So you want to try not to allow language to get in the way, because you are interpreting something, and there is always errors in interpretation. And this is what I like about dowsing, because you ask a carefully framed, concise, clear and unambiguous question, and you're focusing on the question that you're asking, and then your rods or your pendulums will move. You're not trying to translate that energy. You're letting your subconscious mind bring that energy in, and using the odometer effect move your rods, but you don't feel like you're doing it. So this is, you've got, if you connect the human consciousness and you concentrate more on images and sensations and feelings, then you're not allowing your own interpretation of the information that's coming to you to get in the way. Trust the pendulum or the rod swing, but also trust your intuition. So it's like a two-way radio. That way you're sending out a signal to the subject that you're trying to douse and tithe with, and the signal comes back. So that is, that's a way that it has worked very well for me to connect with the spirit of rocks, the spirits of trees, the spirits of places. If I wanted to connect with the river's energy, I start with the tithing. I start feeling the gratitude for its flow. I imagine my own energy field linking with the river, linking with the water, because a river is alive. A river has consciousness. A river interacts with landscape. And then when you can douse, you can ask, is there anything that you want to find out from that river? Is there any information you want to obtain? Is there anywhere where the river needs support or help? Is it blocked? Is it not flowing? What possible quantum information could be in that water that you may be trying to access? So the pendulum will give you a yes. The pendulum will tell you if the, basic things, everything from about pollution to whether the energy is clear and flowing, water's clear and flowing. There's a lot we can learn. So tithing will allow you to access all kinds of information, because you're focusing your dowsing on correctly connecting directly with the spirit. So next time you connect with non-human consciousness, combine tithing's heart connection with the precision of dowsing. Open your heart, set a clear intention, and really listen deeply. Try and get out of your own way. You'll be amazed at the conversations you can have when you really stop interfering with the process, like getting agitated about it, trying to get a particular answer, and also, overthinking and letting your own language be put on this information that can misinterpret the results or the conversation that this non-human consciousness is actually trying to have with you. So that's my tip. Try a more heart-centered tithing connection with the spirit of the thing that you're trying to connect to, and then get your dowsing underway.